Conor McGregor won his first fight in 5.5 years by knockout. Aaron Pico versus Movsar Evloev is official for the Abu Dhabi card. So we have 3 main events for the Abu Dhabi card. So someone has sold his soul to the oil guys. Not the right thing I was looking for. This buddy right here has sold his soul to the fucking oil fellas over there in the Middle East. And he went on the Jim Rome show and talked about a potential deadline for the Tom Aspinall-John Jones fight, which has some controversy to it. And then we have some other stuff to talk about, Paulo Costa versus Roman Kopylov. So let's actually start with this just to get this out the way. Paulo Costa versus Roman Kopylov is off of UFC 317 because Paulo Costa refuses to stay healthy. So this card is just absolutely terrible now. And we can't even have Justin Taffa on the main card to save us, guys. He's out. So now Royval and Van will still be on the main card, but then what the fuck do we have besides that and then the 2 title fights? So this card sucks. Oh, we have Moicano Dariush still, but then now we still don't have another fight on the main card. So whatever. International Fight Week's hanging on by a fucking thread at this point. Arman's the backup if you didn't see that. And I've got one other thing I'd like to show you. Sean O'Malley has already agreed to his next fight and already has a date set. And I believe he said it was going to be announced very soon. So I really do think that it's probably an easy fight. I could see it honestly being Chito Vera. If Chito's healthy by September, I could see it being Chito Vera in a trilogy, which makes no sense, but I could absolutely see it happening because they want to give O'Malley a win. They stick it on the UFC No-Check card, and I could see it potentially happening because I could also see them doing Yair versus Volk still because now they booked Evloev versus Pico. So, or not Volk, well, yeah, they could not do Yair versus Diego now potentially, which means that card needs a main event. And I bet you that they would make that the main event. So we'll see. There's other options. Figueiredo could still get the fight. I could see Henry Cejudo even getting the fight. It's going to be someone low-ranked who doesn't deserve a shot at the high ranking O'Malley has, but they're going to give O'Malley an easy win. That will be the plan. So let's move on from that and let's go to the more important topics. So let's start at Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor! I know you died of an overdose last year, but I'm going to fight you. Okay, but if we're seriously going to talk about it, sorry, that's going to be Michael Chandler in a few years. If you seriously haven't seen this, Conor McGregor was caught in a club in Ibiza, which, you know, crazy stuff happens in Ibiza. And he sucker punched him. I mean, it was a perfect left hand. Let's just show you guys it. All right, let's get the sound on it too. Oh, no sound. Never mind. Just keep an eye on it. Boom, boom. Hold on. Replay. Sorry. And you can see here, his leg might be compromised, man. That leg might be a problem, man. Ow! Ow! He finished him. What a finish from Conor! Wow! But look at him. Boom! Boom! He won by KO, guys! He did it! He doesn't have to come back to the UFC anymore. He's won. He got his first win. He did what he needed to do. Good for Conor McGregor, man. He got his first win since Cowboy Cerrone in 2020. And, yeah, congrats to the man. But anyway, on a real note, it's sad to fucking see, dude. This dude is just handing out free lawsuits to anybody who approaches him. I mean, this dude's got serious anger issues. The coke is messing with his head a little bit, all right? Like, this dude's crazy. He's crazy. Bro, too old to be clubbing. Oh my God. It's so funny, but it's also really sad. And you know, yeah, that's all I'm gonna even say about it. I can't. Nothing else to even say. He got his first win, man. Happy for my man Conor. He did it in bare knuckle, actually. Yeah, but he's just handing out free lawsuits. Like, this guy's just lost. He's gone. And it's a shame, man. It truly is a shame. He's not the same fighter. Not the same person that he once was. And the wisdom, the nuance that he had, the aura, it's gone. It's all gone. I don't even think Conor has, in terms of a fighter anymore, like, he doesn't have any sort of aura. You know, of course, as a person, whatever, but grown man talking about aura. But this guy is genuinely a clown. He's a clown. He's an idiot, and he's never coming back, and I really don't see this all ending well for him. I think he's addicted to all of it. The fame, the coke, the parties, the alcohol, the money, just everything. I think he's addicted to all of it. And I just don't think he's ever going to... The fact that this has been happening now for years, I don't think it's ever stopping. I think it's going to end him. I really do. Sorry to put this to a dark note, but I'm being honest, man. I'm giving my take. This is an MMA topic. This is the MMA world somehow, and I'm giving my take on it. And I really do think that this could end very badly for Conor if he doesn't snap out of it soon. I really want one of these idiots to sue him for, like, all of his money so that maybe he realizes that this isn't a fucking joke anymore. I don't even know. Like, the fact that he's had these lawsuits and the fact, like, the Miami Heat incident where he's sitting courtside and he punched the mascot, literally knocked out the mascot and broke his face or whatever. And then he had the thing with the woman in the Miami Heat bathroom. That also turned into an accusation. And then he had the lawsuit that he was actually found liable in a civil court for, you know. And now this. And he's handing out another free lawsuit where he's probably going to get charged. There's video evidence of it. It looks like him. It's something he would do. It's stupid, man. And I don't know if it's ever going to stop him. This guy's crazy. And yeah. So that's all I'm going to say about that one. Let's move on. Next up, UFC Abu Dhabi. Now, before I get mad, okay, because I am very upset at Mr. Dana White, not because of this card, okay? This card is amazing. It's amazing. Great fights. An amazing card. Names all across the board. You know what my problem with it is? So you give this, Peter Yan versus Marcus McGee, as a feature fight of a fight night. A 5-round co-main event of Movzar and Aaron Pico. And then a 5-round main event of Whitaker and DeRitter. In Abu Dhabi. On a fight night. But then UFC 318's co-main event is allowed to be Marvin Vettori versus Brendan Allen. Dana White has completely sold out to the Middle East and the oil money. It's ridiculous. And I will take great fight cards any day. Okay? This is an amazing fight card. Bryce Mitchell moving down, fighting Saeed Nurmagomedov. Great matchmaking if he's moving down and he's okay with moving down. Shara Bullet is back against Marc-Andre Barriou. That'll be a fun fight. Nikita Krylov versus Bogdan. Top-ranked light heavyweight fight. High finishing rates. It's going to be a great one. And then the 3 fights at the top of the card. Are you serious? Like, this card is crazy. It's crazy. None of these could go on the main card of UFC 318. None of them could. So I will take this great fight card, but the issue I have is that it's now damaging other fight cards. You have these other cards these pay-per-views. This is a fight night. But it's in Abu Dhabi and it has a better main card than most pay-per-views because it's in Abu Dhabi. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And it's damaging these other fight cards to the point where if you go to a USA fight card, one of the people on the main card probably isn't going to be worth watching. You'll have on a Vegas pay-per-view, you'll have Amanda Lemos versus Yasmin Lacindo as a second fight on a pay-per-view. But then you get this on a fight night main card, a 6-fight night main card. 4 ranked fights, 3 of those being top 5 contenders, and 2 unranked fights with a Nurmagomedov last name and Shara Bullet. And Bryce Mitchell. It's crazy. This is an amazing card, and I'm happy with it. But Dana White's completely sold out to the Middle East and the oil money. And I want to get into this, too, of Mr. Dana White once it loads. He's talking about a deadline for Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall. Just listen to this, okay? So you know how Dana White said that the fight is done. It's essentially done all the way down to a date, basically. And, he was like, the fight's done, guys. All right, John's going to fight him. This fight's happening, guys. It's guaranteed. 100% going to happen. It's going to happen, guys. And then, now this is the type of language he has. Just listen.
Because I know you're sick of the question. Does Jon Jones not want to fight, or does Jon Jones just not want to fight Tom Aspinall?
Look at the change. Look at the change. Look at his face. Does this guy just not want to fight? Like, what's happening? All right, you told us about this fight 4 months ago. He was on the same show, Jim Rome, terrible dude. He was on Jim Rome's show like 3 months ago, and they were talking about the Aspinall fight. He was like, this fight's 100% happening, guys. And then now we're in mid-June, and the fight still hasn't, if anything, it's gotten further away from being done. And he's like, you said that this was happening. It still hasn't happened. Are they going to fight? Is John even wanting to fight? And Dana immediately is like, oh, God, another question. Listen to this.
Listen, Jon Jones has been an interesting human being to deal with since the day he got here. But I will say...
Interesting, to say the least. Does that, he's interesting to deal with, God, I mean, he just took all these random gaps between his careers, otherwise known as PED suspensions from, commissions because he cheated. And, running into a pregnant woman in a car, and then, running back to the scene and stealing his cocaine and then running away again. And then, he was firing his gun, and then he was driving around erratic in the middle of the night, talking to homeless guys, making them feel good, beating his wife to a pulp multiple times. There's so many great things with Jon Jones that we've heard about. So he's really been a truly interesting human being. Not to mention him also ruining, the entire UFC event to where they had to cancel it because he'd refused to fight Chael Sonnen, who would step up on like a week's notice or whatever, a few days' notice. And Jon, refused to fight him, completely ruining the event, canceling the event. If, say, Bilal Muhammad or Dricus du Plessis, let's say Dricus du Plessis, because Jon and him, they were kind of at more similar spots in their careers at that point. If you think about it, Dricus, a few title defenses now. Jon, he was around that area. Youngest champion ever, but still, similar situations. If Dricus... Say Khamzat pulls out 2 days before the fight. Completely realistic, by the way. And then they're like, all right, you're going to fight Nasruddin. Dricus is like, oh, no, I'm not going to fight Nasruddin. And the fight had to get canceled. Dana White would strip Dricus of his title and would go to the press conference and be like, you can't just not fight. Like, you just can't not fight. Like, what are you doing? I digress. Listen.
Say this about him. John Jones has never turned down an opponent here or been afraid to fight anybody.
Are you sure? Are you positive, Dana? Doesn't sound quite right. You know, he never turned down a fight. He literally did against Chael Sonnen. You know, and he literally did also duck, Francis Ngannou for 2 years. And then as soon as Francis left, he's like, oh, I'm ready to fight, And then, he also ducked Jan Blachowicz, but let's continue.
For instance, he doesn't fight this guy. Who would you like to see him fight? Or are you going to wait until he fights this guy?
Who would you like to see him fight? Like, it's like... this is the issue. Dana White goes on shows of people who don't know anything about MMA. And so he's like, well, who else could he fight? There's not another option. He's absolutely ducking Tom Aspinall. Like, this isn't even... I just don't get it. Let's let him finish.
I don't know. We'll see how this thing plays out over the next couple weeks. But, yeah, if we can't get this fight done, we'll move on quickly.
How long are you going to wait?
Quickly, he says.
I mean, how long is it worth waiting for?
I said a couple weeks.
Couple weeks?
Yeah, we'll have the answers in the next couple weeks.
So he said a couple weeks. So if you recall, Dana White in February and January and, November and December, he always said, we will get the Aspinall fight done, guys. He even said it before the Stipe fight, that the winner of that fight, if Stipe, won, then whatever. But if John won, he would fight Tom. He's been saying this since John started refusing to fight Tom, over a year ago, when he was very openly declining to fight Tom Aspinall because Tom just hasn't done anything. And now Dana, instead of saying, it's 100% happening, guys, he's like, well, we'll give it a couple more weeks, and then we'll figure out what's happening, and we'll move on quickly. Tom Aspinall hasn't fought in a year. John hasn't fought since November. Islam didn't fight in January, and because he didn't fight in June, you stripped him of his belt. Because he wasn't fighting active enough. But you're going to let John take until November or December. It's ridiculous, man. The preferential treatment, the oil money, it has all corrupted this bald-headed idiot who has no idea anything about his promotion. I bet he has no idea about the Atlanta card this past weekend. I bet he has no idea what he's going to do for Usman. I bet he has no idea his plans for the welterweight division. I bet if you asked him, all right, Dana, how would you book the welterweight division right now? He'd be like, what? And then he'd be like, fucking Usman's next. All right, Usman has deservingly gotten the next title shot, all right? And Sean Brady, what? Yeah, he fights, I don't know. He needs at least another couple fights. That's what we're going to hear. That kid's got a lot of his career left. He doesn't know anything about his business, nothing about his promotion, nothing about the fighters. He doesn't care. He wasn't even at a Kamaru Usman card. Kamaru Usman, the guy you call the greatest welterweight of all time over GSP, which is complete bullshit. You glaze him on his podcast and you don't even go to his fight. What else could you be doing? This is your full-time job. Wake up. That's all I've got to say, man. I need it to be done. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of this idiot. He doesn't know anything about his business, nothing about his fighters, and he's sold out completely. So that's it. That's all I've got today. I'm done. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I'll see you later.